Chops, lifts, Pallof presses, they're all great exercises, but do you know exactly which one to prescribe to your client? Hi everyone, Thomas Wells here, Advanced Movement Therapist. Today I'm going to show you how to precisely prescribe a directional stability exercise to your clients. So chops, lifts, we want to prescribe them to our clients if they're appropriate, but they can't do it all and they don't have the time, nor should they have to do them all. So we're going to go through a test that we use in the Advanced Movement Therapist certification called the Directional Stability Push Test to add a little precision to your practice. So first off, you're going to get your client. So Michael's going to go into a half kneel position. And we want to make sure that the feet are directly lined up one in front of the other, okay? Because the sharper the stance that he has, the less pressure I need to use to try and throw him off balance. So when in the AMT, we're going to go through the global movement scan, and the entry point to this is actually single leg balance. So before I get Michael to go into a kneeling, we're going to have a look at his balance. So turn to face camera. Okay, stand on one leg, go feet together, stand on one leg. And what we're going to look for is if there's any deviations or anything going on in here, and we get him to close his eyes. And oftentimes we might start to see some pelvic tilts and some rotations. His foot's doing a pretty good job, but we got a little bit of hike here, and we'll switch sides to compare. So on the right side, we have a little bit of a disruption. So I'm guessing that when we test Michael on his right leg, on that right hip, we might find something with the stability push test. So now we'll go into half kneeling, and we're going to sharpen that up. So he's going to bring one foot directly in front of the other. Good to sharpen that stance. So bring it right there. Bring it out here a little bit. Good. So the balance leg is that right hip. Okay, we can see he's a little bit flexed there. He's going to bring the hands together. He's going to lock those elbows. And all I want him to do is to not fall over. So I'm just using my finger. I'm just giving a little push to see if I can push him offline. Okay, so he's having a little bit of difficulty there. So we're doing anticipatory. So he's matching my resistance, and then I take it away. And he's doing reactionary stability. So we have a little bit of a left rotation problem with Michael here. So right rotation on the right hip. That's not too bad. Bilateral extension. So it's relation to the spine. Bilateral flexion. We'll go into diagonal flexion. That's not too bad. Diagonal extension. Good. And we'll switch sides to see and compare to the left leg. So this one looked pretty good. Lock it in. So we'll go into that left rotation again. So left rotation is still an issue on the left leg, okay? Right rotation, still fine-ish. Maybe we do a little bit there. Bilateral extension, bilateral flexion, diagonal flexion, diagonal extension. Okay, so it looks like we have a left rotation issue on both hips for Michael. So his prescription will be more of that Pallof press. So let's start on the right leg. So now we're going to line up the hips into the train track. So they're going to line straight up here. This is the test position. This is the training position. Excuse me. He's going to get nice and tall. He's going to lock into that hip. And this is where he can press in and out to work on that rotation control that he may be lacking. The emphasis is don't let the client flex or bend into that hip. Keep that nice and locked, nice tall spine, and breathing comfortably. As he gets a little bit more proficient, a little bit more comfortable, he can then rotate into that direction that was a little bit challenging for him, okay? So we go into the short range. As he gets easier, we'll let him go into the longer range here. And of course, you're gonna add on more tension. And then we're gonna switch legs because its left rotation was a problem or just challenging for both legs. So make sure you're seeing right here, it's not trying to twist that foot to try and find a better base of support. We want the control to come from here. Bring that in there a little bit more. There you go. That's where your hip is. Good. Don't let them take a wide base of support. We want them in those lined up. We want the feet lined up with the hips. Good. So he's going to perform a few repetitions here. He's got a nice level, stable pelvis. Good. And then, of course, we come back into our test position. Let's switch. So we always check our work. Lining them up nice and tall. Lock them up. Good. And that's much better. Okay. And then we'll go up into standing and single leg balance where it becomes practical. Okay. So the left leg was fine. Let's check the right leg. and we got a little bit better of a response. So that's a quick test. A directional stability push test is a quick test to know what stimulus or what direction we need to add some stability and control through the spine and the pelvis. Go back up and check it. Once it's locked back in, then you can do more of the heavy resistance with your kettlebells or your landmines or your medicine ball tosses. But if there's a control problem with rotation or any kind of diagonal movements across the spine, we need to make sure we have control of those first before we start adding a lot of torque and force. If you find this content helpful, head over to amtcertified.com and get certified today.